Welcome back to the Slide Job Podcast. I'm your host, Colton Smith, or Left Turn Central. I'm here joined by co-host Brandon Bull Davis. Josh is out once again. Busy times. He's about to graduate from college, so I guess that's a fair excuse. But anyways, me and Bull have a lot to talk about. But before we get into a controversial Talladega, not only for the race but some teammate controversy. And some Fox controversy and some fun times in the ARCA series. Before we get into all of that, Bull, how have you been? It's been a week. It feels like forever since I talked NASCAR. Didn't do the Friday show.
It has been a while. I actually loved the race, 95% of it at least. I thought it was a good race. We didn't see as much as the fuel savings that we had previously at super speedways. All in all, I thought it was a good race. So I'm pretty happy to get started and let's see where it takes us.
Yeah. Well, go right ahead. You got the race recap this week. I missed the first couple stages, so I'll let you take it over.
So started out, they didn't get any practice. Then they just got one lap qualifying, and then Zane Smith got the pole. Started out and right off the bat, started getting challenges for the lead by Joey Logano and Michael McDowell. And within the first 5-6 laps, we were four wide and running 50.8 second laps. About around lap 5. If you compare that to last year, around the same time, it was 55-second laps. So running about 5 seconds faster than last year's race. So that kind of alludes to the not worried about the fuel savings as much. Really, and then kind of stayed four wide, swapping the lead back and forth. And then kind of towards about lap 20, the top and the bottom lane kind of slowed down a little bit. You had all the Toyotas lined up top. And then about lap 25, all the Toyotas came from nowhere and surged around the outside with Chase Briscoe leading and ended up passing everybody and taking the lead. They ended up dropping to the bottom and they kind of set sail. You had the six Toyotas. You had Briscoe, Bell, Hamlin, uh, Bubba, Reddick, um, and I can't remember who else. But there were six of them.
Take Gibbs,
They uh, it was
Jones, or Nemechek?
it was not. It was Riley Herbst and Riley Herbst.
Yes, of course. The most forgettable one. Sorry.
So Riley Herbst, and they kind of pulled away actually for a little bit. And then it was a battle of, so you had those six cars single file, and then the rest kind of became 2-3 wide behind them. And then it became a battle of them trying to catch and slow down those six cars. And they did some, but then they would end up pushing back. So that kind of stayed like that until we got pit strategy, till we got green flag pit stops, which those started around lap 38. The Toyotas pit first, along with some of the Chevys. Michael McDowell pit with them, Riley Herbst, or I'm sorry, Michael McDowell, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Anthony Alfredo, a few of those guys pit. Briscoe ended up stalling his car in the pits and had a slow exit. So then you get the Fords, or about 2 laps later, the Fords go to pit. Kyle Busch looks like he got a little squirrely. When trying to decide if he was going to pit or not. Brad Kay didn't really know what was going on. Looks like they made contact. They made contact with Bowman, and then Blaney's comes flying around, tries to hit a gap, and they just destroy. And he destroys Brad Keselowski, which caused a caution, which ultimately kind of screwed the Toyota guys' strategy up. There was half the guys that were already on pit road got to finish their stops, So they ended up taking the lead from the Toyota guys who would have been out front. So after that, we got the field re-racked, uh, and Blaney, Keselowski were done for the day. Uh, Kyle Busch ended up coming back and racing. Um, can't remember who ended up leading after the pit stops. But they ended up, after coming back, they had about 12 laps till the end of the stage. And it was actually a great finish between Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Chase Elliott. Bubba almost, I will say, he almost caused a wreck, big wreck, with a late block. But he ended up pulling back down instead of following through with the late block on Larson. Ultimately, Larson ended up pushing through and winning stage one. And Cody Ware was actually pushing Kyle Larson to the finish the stage,
Of all
uh,
people.
and he ended up getting a top five stage finish. And if I remember correctly, he was also the one who pushed Bubba to win stage two. Uh, so if I've got my numbers correctly, Cody Ware finished inside the top 10 in both stages. Um,
I went to look to see if he passed Shane in points. He didn't quite do that yet, but he got closer, that's for sure.
so then at the end of that stage, most of the cars pit. Most of the lead lap cars pit. Uh, Carson Hocevar, JJ Yaley, Kyle Busch, Alfredo, and BJ McLeod all stayed out. So they all stayed out. Second stage, you got a little bit of strategy being played. It went green for the most part. We did have some 3-4 wide as well. Sorry. But it was pretty good. One thing that Hamlin, he pit 3 laps before the end of this stage to try to flip it and make that last pit stop. He got shuffled around in traffic, so he pit 3 laps before the end of the stage to um, kind of get slow that last pit stop down, which ultimately put him up at the front of the field on the last pit stop. Really, the second stage went green for the most part. Really, the only big controversy in that one, which we're going to get to a little bit later, was the Joey Logano, Austin Cindric.
Mhm.
That happened in stage two. Bubba Wallace won stage two, and then ended up getting to stage three, which kind of led to the same, which kind of ended up played out the same way as stage one. The Toyotas pulled the same strategy. They got all 6 of their guys out front. Um, Ended up getting all 6 of their guys out front. They pulled the pit strategy with Carson Hocevar, ended up pitting with them. They ran the Fords and the Chevys decided to run long. They win and they were going to either pass them or we were going to have 3-4 wide for the final about 13, 14 laps. um, I know me and Colton kind of disagree on this one, but when the Chevys came out, um, I was not too happy. Ross Chastain parked it in the middle of the racetrack coming out of his pit stop and threw a block on the Toyotas, who had a full head of steam coming. Uh, and I personally think that ruined a good finish of the race. Because really after that it was too wide. Uh, we really had a two wide finish. It was a two wide battle between the Chevys and the Fords. That kind of basically eliminated all the Toyotas. Ended up getting down in a battle between Austin Cindric and Ryan Preece. Austin Cindric ended up becoming getting the checkered flag, and then Preece and Logano both ended up getting disqualified. Uh, I think Priest was going to win it until Cindric got the draft off of Kyle Busch, and I can't remember who the other lap car was. Coming out of turn 4, there was 2 lap cars, Kyle Busch and another one, and Cindric got a draft off of them. And ultimately, I think that's what pulled him ahead.
Josh Berry, I think, right?
It might have. I think it was.
Because that's
Uh,
the guy who was next to him. I don't think it was Anthony Alfredo in the 62.
no, okay, it was Josh Berry.
But
But you had Larson and Byron side by side in third and fourth.
mhm.
I was interested to see how that was going to play out. If they were going to push the Fords, or if they were going to push them out front and then try to make a move. But ultimately, they pushed them out, and they ended up getting the win.
Yeah, it was interesting because as far as Talladega finishes go, I felt it to be slightly anticlimactic, but like it was still a great finish. Like don't get that like twisted. We were spoiled when it comes to Talladega because it's always a finish like that. But typically, I feel like I'm used to seeing a move from that second row. Does Larson go low? Does Byron go high, or vice versa? What do they do? And we just didn't quite have that, which is okay. Cindric got the one. I think that was a big part of just Cindric is a really great plate driver who knows how to play the draft the right way, knows how to work things in his advantage, and keep control of that lead. He's really great at that. Hamlin has admitted that in the past that he's just so good at doing that skill. So if he gets in front of one of these races at the end of it, it's really hard for him not to win. But yeah, I mean, you definitely said it all. It was a different type of clean. There was never really a big one at all. Like the biggest wreck was probably what the Kozlowski, Bush, and Blaney wreck. Would you say?
Yeah, that was really the big wreck. I mean, that really might have been the only wreck that I remember. There
Mm-hmm.
was a little incident uh, with John Hunter Nemechek. He spun out coming off pit
Mm-hmm.
road, which a couple of drivers were complaining that there was water there. But he was the only driver that I really see spun out. And that was in stage 3 as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, this is a big win for Austin Cindric. It bumped him up 8 spots in the points. He's now 14th in the point standings, and we've been waiting for him to kind of show the flashes we saw of him in the Xfinity Series. We haven't really seen those flashes in the Cup Series anywhere but the super speedways. He's definitely maybe if I were to give an overreaction, this isn't my overreaction this week, but if you want an extra one, Austin Cindric might be the best super speedway racer in the Cup Series right now. I mean, he's had a shot at winning every single race at a super speedway this year, Daytona and Atlanta. And the reality of it is you just aren't going to win every single super speedway race, but it's really impressive to see him find that niche. And I think so long as he has that ability, he's going to have a place in the Cup Series and probably a place at Penske with the help of Tim Cindric, of course, being high up in there as well. But this has been a decent start for him. He's gotten some top tens at places outside of the super speedways as well. So I'm curious to see if this win can maybe launch him into just being a consistent top 16 guy without needing that win to get into the postseason.
Yeah, and I really would have liked to have seen what would have happened if Bubba could have got back up there with them with the
Agreed.
Toyotas. He's another one that talk about really good with super speedways.
Mm-hmm.
But that, yeah, I probably woke up my neighbors if they were sleeping when Ross pulled up there and blocked in the middle, just with a full head of steam
Yeah.
coming out of the pits.
Yeah, fully understand that. It's definitely a very frustrating thing to have happen. The only reason I wasn't like fully lost on it, and the more I look at the replay, the more I'm like, yeah, I'm literally just have my Chase colored glasses on. I was just happy that they kept Chase Elliott at least around that top 10. So I take the small victories. All right. But let's go ahead and circle back to that Penske group and talk about the controversy between Joey Logano and Austin Cindric, where Cindric at the end of stage 2, like you said, he helped Logano for a bit, tried everything he could to not wreck him, but then didn't help him in the end. Is that really what I got from that?
Yeah, and then Logano radio was something to hear. If you have not heard that, you should definitely go back and listen.
Hmm.
Um, it was something. But ultimately, it's not a team sport. I mean, it is a team sport, but it's your team. It's Austin Cindric's team. It's Joey Logano's team. It's he's got to do what's best for him. Ultimately, when it comes down to winning, he's got to do what's best for him. And like you said, Joey Logano can't expect everybody just to do what they can, what he wants them to do every time for him.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I could find the quote. I couldn't, but I found a very good quote from somebody people may have heard of, Chipper Jones. I'd heard he's been a NASCAR fan. I didn't know he was this big of a NASCAR fan though, because he tweeted after the race on Sunday, "Congrats to Austin Cindric on his Talladega win. Good teammates are hard to come by, boss. Remember that one of yours MF'd you on national television, when in all actuality, you did everything possible to keep from wrecking him. Hate to be deuces in the team meeting on Monday. Some people are hooray for their team as long as I'm the star, as every team has them. Hendrick, RCR, JGR, Penske, etc. Sometimes karma is glorious. Enjoy this one. And in case anyone is confused, let me be clear, at Joey Logano." I love it. I love it because Joey Logano is my least favorite driver in the Cup Series. It's funny because I can't really say I have least favorite athletes in any other sport but NASCAR, because Joey Logano is just Joey Logano. He's so, I could totally see him doing the same exact thing that Cindric did, except he wouldn't try to help Cindric. He would do what's in the best interest for him. So it's absolutely ridiculous for him to go around and turn around and try to say that Cindric's a bad teammate. There's countless amount of times I've seen Cindric help him, help out Blaney. I wonder if Logano even knows Blaney's on his team because he wasn't there to help him, yesterday. I cannot stand Joey Logano. I will not stand Joey Logano. And yeah, there's that.
He he has done this same thing. It's it's pretty it's pretty ridiculous that he's gonna call out Cindric. Yeah, I get you want to help manufacture, kind of got an alliance with Penske, but in all actuality, you've got to do what you've got to do to win. Especially with this playoff format, you've got to get the playoff points. You've got to get the points for your team to win. If he's going to look at his crew chief, his pit guys, and say, "Oh, I pushed Joey to the win, and I didn't try to win it," how's that going to go over in the meetings on
Mhm.
Monday? He's, I don't, but yeah, he's Joey Logano. He is the worst.
He's just so two-faced, not even in this situation, but how he tries to preach about all this different, like, being clean and driving clean, when he's just the opposite. There are countless amounts of examples of him not driving clean. I can think of Darlington against Byron. I can think of Talladega against Bowman. I can think of the whole Matt Kenseth situation very easily. And so it's just like Denny Hamlin said, it's short track racing. It's just short track racing. That's how Joey is. Because like when it's him, it's just short track racing. But when it's against him, it's a problem, or in this case, super speedway racing. So that's all I have to say on that. I'm sure there'll be plenty of times throughout this podcast where I'll rant about Joey, so I'll try to even it all out.
And and I don't think it'll be the end of that either.
No,
I definitely think we'll be hearing more come out this week because I think there'll be something said today, tomorrow during the meetings, during the competition meetings that come out about what all happened.
I hope so, because if anybody needs a reality check in this sport, it's Joey Logano for sure. And I'll just say I'm not done with him for this episode. I got something locked up for him later on in the episode, but he hasn't had one since Tony Stewart at Auto Club, which is maybe my favorite clip of all time. But we'll save that for another day. Let's talk about this Fox commercial break controversy at the end of the Talladega race. The crazy thing about it is they went to commercial break like under 20. Like they did that Toyota All Out thing, and then like 2 minutes after the Toyota All Out, where like the All Out's supposed to be a replacement for commercial because Toyota's the one sponsoring it. And it was like a couple laps after that they went to commercial break, and I was like, huh, that's kind of weird. There's like 20 or so laps left, maybe a little more. And then we get to 10 to go, and we go to another Fox side by side. That's when I'm like, what?
And it was
Is
like
this real life?
6 laps.
Yeah, yeah. It took it. They came back with about 6 laps to go, I think, because I tuned out to go check on the Timberwolves Lakers game was ending at the same exact time and was having a very exciting finish as well. So we're trying to work both of those at the same time, and so I went there. They went to commercial break. I come back. It's still on side by side, and I think it just came back with about 6 to go, maybe 5. I think it came back at the end of 6 to go, and it just switched to 5 right as it happened.
Yeah, it was like came back. It was like a 5 lap, 6 lap caution. I mean, with under 10 with 10 to go.
Yeah,
Like that is ridiculous. We're meant
completely unacceptable. Oh, Bull has disappeared. That's how unacceptable it is.
That's the best part of the
Okay,
race.
he's back. You disappeared for a second there, Bull.
That's the best part of the finish.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, as somebody who works is getting into working in that field, it's the only thing I can think, and I'm not trying to defend them. The only thing I can try to rationalize what happened is they probably bank on Talladega having cautions, so they save the brakes for the end of the race when the cautions are going to come out, and then they kind of came to the realization that shit, there might not be cautions coming out, and we have to get these have to be during the race commercial breaks. I'm not saying that's justified. I'm not saying that's okay, but it is kind of how the business works. Let's just be happy it wasn't full screen, because there may be some changes going on, maybe some openings at Fox, and not because they got fired.
I mean, we watch the race to watch the race. I don't watch to see commercials. Yeah, I get they have to pay bills, but with 10 laps to go, 10, 15 laps to go, we should not be having a 5, 6 lap commercial.
I agree. I completely agree. And that just adds to the never-ending list of complaints that is growing with Fox and their broadcast and how they handle it, which is something you would expect towards the end of a contract, but having now just recently re-signed a contract for a long term is very disappointing to see, because really the theme around Fox is everybody does what Fox does a lot better, and that's really just a shame for the start of your schedule. I think that's the worst place you could have a broadcast like Fox, because it just kills the momentum of your sport. But sticking with Talladega, one last storyline is the ARCA race. Bull, I know you were the one that brought this up and got this in here, so I'll let you take it away, because there's quite an interesting storyline kind of forming there.
Yeah, so I'm sure we kind of talked about this. Cletus McFarland, kind of YouTube personality, YouTube star. He raced in the Daytona race for the ARCA race. He raced in the Talladega race this past weekend for the ARCA series. And NASCAR put a camera in his car for an in-car camera, and there was 70,000 people watching the YouTube stream of the in-car camera. And it's just his fans, because he has a huge personality, a huge following, and it just shows the difference of when we get people with huge personalities in the sport, what can happen, the following that can happen. I tuned in to watch the ARCA race just because he was racing. I don't have any interest in watching ARCA, but I watch his YouTube videos. So it's just, he brings attention to the sport. He's racing the Bristol race as well. I'm gonna watch it just because he's racing in it. And it just shows when you have people with personality and they can do what they want, it what kind of attention it can bring to the sport. So I know kind of brought this up when we were talking before the show. Denny Hamlin showed personality last year when the Ross or it might have been 2 years ago, on his podcast, when the Ross and Denny fiasco was going on, and he ended up getting fined. Let these guys have personality. Let them show a little bit of personality. Well, like, it's not going to hurt anything. It's going to bring more fans. It's going to show more fans. It's going to bring more fans to the sport. Different fans are probably going to like different drivers. Just if seeing that personality. I
Yeah.
know just from what personality that Hamlin gets to see or gets to show on his podcast, people have started actually liking him just from what little bit he does get to show. Let more drivers show more personality, bring more fans, more interest to the sport.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody that's always had beef with Hamlin because of certain Martinsville night, I still very much appreciate what he does for the sport with Actions Intermental, and have come to tolerate him. I'll say tolerate him now. I do like Denny Hamlin, and I did not used to like that, and that getting that extra side of him has definitely helped. But I agree. I think personalities is what sells your sport, and especially NASCAR, a sport that is a team sport, like you said, in the sense of your team. But let's be honest, the drivers are the biggest names, are the ones that are bringing it to you. And look at what F1's Drive to Survive has done. I never had an inkling of a thought to watch F1 until I watched that show. I fell in love with Daniel Ricciardo. Not in that way, but, I fell in love with Daniel Ricciardo and his personality. I like Lando Norris as well. I kind of fell in love with that McLaren team from that show, and that what it's been. I don't even watch the show anymore, but I still follow F1 week to week now, or 2 week, whatever they're on, and that's because of that show, because of the personalities on that show, and they do. F1 does a great job at letting those personalities flourish. I mean, Lando's on YouTube videos everywhere. He has his own kind of YouTube company and stuff that he helps out, and you don't have that outside of Denny Hamlin really in NASCAR. And I think that's something we need to branch out into, is let these guys, like you say, be a personality. Because really, I think Alex Bowman has a very underrated personality that I really wish could be showed out there more, but he's the fourth guy to Hendricks, so he doesn't get that. Outside of that, I can't really think of guys in the garage with that great a personality. I mean, Joey has two of them. Kyle Busch is Kyle Busch, but really, I haven't felt that same Kyle Busch in, like, he was getting compared to the Intimidator at times. I haven't felt that same level of intimidation, I guess, out of him the past couple of years, and I guess that's more so just his performance.
Like Noah Gragson 2 years ago,
yes,
would have been out shotgunning beers on Talladega Boulevard before he got in trouble. You'd have seen videos of him shotgunning beers or on a pole somewhere on Talladega Boulevard Saturday night with fans. But now
with his suit on, and it has the top buttons out.
letting his man lettuce flow.
Yes, absolutely. Climbing the fence, all of that.
But now you don't see that. Ever since he got in trouble. But what was it, last year? I think it was.
Just 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
That year was Stuart Haas after, and then Legacy was where he was at.
Before that, he was all about going out, having time with the fans, and but now you don't get that. I know, and a lot of it has to do with sponsors as well. But I wish we got more stuff of that. Drivers hanging out with fans, or just personality in general.
Well, think back in the day, like at first glance, you don't really think that it wasn't that much personality. I guess there's not much difference. No, there's a huge difference. Tony Stewart, that's enough said. Like that Joey Logano situation. Oh my gosh, I love that clip. I'm probably going to have to watch that clip after this video. Like that clip is so much fun. My favorite part is Chris Burns was the one interviewing him. He goes, "Thank you, Tony." He says, "Thank you."
Thank you.
He goes about his day. I love that. And Carl Edwards, even, like, I know he's my favorite driver of all time, but I remember listening to that podcast that brought me back. Like, yeah, Carl Edwards used to be like kind of a dick sometimes, and he would admit that. And it just, you don't have that anymore. These drivers, when they're on the radio, would probably be some of the most entertaining drivers in the world. But the second they get out of that radio and they got a microphone in front of them, well, I just like to thank my sponsor, Eddie Bauer and Napa, and especially Chase is especially the one that does this, and UniFirst and Hendrick Motorsports are giving me a good engine, and blah blah blah. It's just that, like, very seldom is it anything. I don't tune into post race interviews anymore because it's just that every time. And I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to listen to who sponsored you. I want to listen to what you thought about that race. And I feel like unless it's Denny Hamlin, we don't really get that anymore. And then Denny Hamlin does something, and I'll admit I thought the sign was corny, but and retroactively looking at it, like Denny Hamlin does something interesting at the end of the race, and everyone clowns him for it. I will still say that flag was corny as hell, but the story behind it is actually really cool, and I feel bad for clowning him on it to begin with. But yeah, there's that. That's a good conversation about personality, which is something we need a lot more of in this sport. But we were going to talk about some of the all-star race drama. We might shelve that for Friday. I won't be here on Friday, but Bull, hopefully you'll be able to make it, or Ben and Josh might talk about that on Friday. But I think it's time we move on to our overreactions from Talladega. Bull, I love it when I look at my phone and I see that you have a very, very hot take, because I remember your first hot take, and it is aged beautifully. Fun fact: Cole Custer is now past SVG in the point standings, if you're wondering. So SVG is now the second to worst, I think. No, that was the results. Yes, of the full-time drivers, the only full-time driver below him is Cody Ware by about 50 points. So, yeah, that's where we're at with SVG. I'll go ahead, since you have the hot take. I'll just go ahead and get my Joey Logano hate out of my system. Joey Logano is the worst champion. The 2024 championship is the worst won championship in the history of the sport of NASCAR, and he is only solidifying this by being the third worst driver at Penske this year. He has just one top 10 to his name and a 20th place. I had to round up, to be fair, 19.7, but a 20th place average finish to start the year this year. And he also won the championship last year with a 17th place average finish. So if he were to just finish that place every single race and did not win a race, he would not have even made the playoffs. So, there we go. I love knocking on Joey Logano. I will give him credit. He did probably his ability to just win random races does earn him at least one championship in my mind, but definitely not three. And yeah, Bull, what do you got?
Oh, this one may get me in a little trouble with some of the fans, but I'm just going to say it. Talladega is 10 times better than Daytona.
Ooh. Yeah, you're going to get in trouble. I'll get in trouble with you, Bull. I agree. I have always preferred Talladega to Daytona racing. Daytona 500 is an outstanding event. I would love to be down there, but I would also love to be on the boulevard. I don't know if you saw. I saw Icy Vert on Twitter. He was like going down there, like his first time experiencing, and it's he said that he fell in love with it. It was pretty funny just seeing him walking around with Busch Light in hand, concerts there, and yeah, I sent that to my non-NASCAR friends. Said here's my argument to go to the boulevard. Just watch this vlog right here. So I agree with you on that.
I would much rather go to Talladega than even the Daytona 500, just for the event, the racing.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a fan, it would have a much better experience.
Okay. I don't know. I can't knock Daytona that much. I will follow you on Dega being better than Daytona, though. I'll go with you there. Yeah, the comments are going to be fun. I'll be watching the comments for you. Let you know if you have any fans down there. I'm sure you have plenty of fans. You always have fans, but maybe not in the direction you want this week. But all right, so there's our overreactions. And now let's go ahead and get into our power rankings. I'll go ahead and start as well. I have at number 5, I will actually be putting I didn't do an honorable mention this week, but at number 5, I have Austin Cindric. I think with this break, there's kind of a reset of the power rankings. I think that you can be a little more focused on, all right, who's getting the momentum out of the break is the way I'm looking at it. Getting a win absolutely puts you on that board for me. So let's start here with this win, Cindric. Let's rattle off some top 10s, and I can keep you around this top 5. For now, I'm putting Cindric at number 5 coming out of the break. I have Chase Elliott just consistently getting those top 10s, finished 7th today or yesterday. And Yeah, I keep Chase Elliott at number 4. In the 3 spot, I have the 11 of Denny Hamlin. He had those 2 wins in a row, had a decent day yesterday, and just kind of staying around. He's up in 3rd place in points, so I kept him there. At number 2, I have Kyle Larson. Winning a stage, getting a great finish at a super speedway, which has been his Achilles heel for the majority of his career. I give him credit for that, and I'll put him in 2nd place, as well as, coming off a win at Bristol. William Byron, though, will take the cake for me. He has a 30-point lead on 2nd place in the Cup Series standings, which is Kyle Larson. He has got 7 top 10s on the year, 5 top 5s. He got another one at Talladega. I think Byron is absolutely running away with this regular season championship, and it's his to lose at this point. As long as he maintains, he's got the most stage points. Looks like the most stage points out of anybody in the field now, and it's just been not necessarily winning. I mean, he could have won Dega for sure, but it hasn't necessarily been by winning speed, but just by being consistent. Maybe starting in the back, but finding his way to the top 10. And I think because of that, and the fact that he kept that up at Dega, I'll put him at the top.
Oh, mine didn't change much from the before the break. I got Ryan Blaney at number 5.
Okay.
Continued his bad luck. I mean, this guy, if there's going to be a wreck, he's going to find it. I don't know what he's got to do to get out of this bad luck stretch that he's got going on, whether it's engines, finding wrecks. But even he's got fast cars and he can just put a race together. I feel bad for the competition. It's just not his luck's just not going the right way. And then I got William Byron at 4. No, he does have the lead, and he is just racking up the top 10 finishes. He did dominate the one race a couple weeks ago, uh,
Darlington.
Darlington. He did, but he didn't finish it out. So he's got the one win this year. He does have the points lead, but he's just racking up finishes. I think there's other guys in on this list that have more speed than him. I got number 3. I got Kyle Larson. He's got the 2 wins. Had the stage win yesterday, uh, and I think we're getting ready to hit a stretch where the next 3 guys on my list um, can rack up a lot of wins. Number 2, I got Christopher Bell. Had the 3 wins in a row earlier this year. He's still been able to salvage a couple finishes. Good finishes. He's not had the best car at some of these tracks, but he's still been able to save top 10 finishes at a couple of them, whether it been with strategy or whatever, but he's still been able to salvage a good finish at the end. And then number 1, Denny Hamlin, um, had the 2 wins in a row, and then second to Larson at Bristol. And then yesterday was up front for most of the day. Then ended up finishing towards the back with the Ross throwing a block. But I really didn't penalize any of these guys for Talladega finishes. Like I said, most of my list didn't change at all. I don't think from the before Talladega because I know that it's a pretty random race. So I really didn't penalize anybody.
Yeah, that's fair. I probably should have put Bell in uh, Chase's spot. Probably swap those 2 out. Not thinking about it, but oh well. That's my power rankings for this week. That's our power rankings for this week. So, Bull, you got 3 drivers for me to try and guess for the upcoming Texas race.
I do, and I don't think anybody will guess one of these.
Okay.
I usually sometimes during the week I get a couple texts as people are watching this, and they'll guess 3 drivers, and I don't think anybody will guess this last one because
Mhm.
I was amazed when I saw this guy's stats. The first one, 10 starts, 1 win, 3 top 5s. 6 top 10s, and an average finish of 11.2.
You said 1 win?
1 win.
10 starts. Who's won at Texas? Only in 10 starts. Don't think. Tyler Reddick.
It is not Tyler Reddick.
All right. Next one.
6 starts, 1 win, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, and an average finish of 9.3.
Tyler Reddick?
That one is Tyler.
I feel like one of these has to be Tyler Reddick.
All right. So this is the one that I don't think you'll be able to guess.
Okay.
But so this guy has 13 starts.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have a win, but he has 3 top 5s, 7 top 10s, and an average finish of 12.3. But he does not win.
16 starts?
13 starts.
13, okay. Does not have a win. Does not have a win. And it's somebody completely random, huh? Ricky Stenhouse doesn't have a good finish here, does he?
He is not Ricky Stenhouse.
Okay, I was just going for out of the blue. Probably not Busher. That'd be too random. He hasn't been around that long. Daniel Suarez?
It's not Suarez.
All right, go ahead and give it.
Eric Jones.
Is it? Wow. Okay. I thought about Jones, but I'm like, I always just go like Darlington with him. Okay.
7 top 10s. He's got an average finish of 12.3 and 13 starts.
Okay. Huh. I picked the wrong former JGR prospect. Okay, so who was the first one? You never said that.
William Byron.
Okay. Did he win it last year or something?
I don't remember. I have to go back and look.
That's okay. Okay, so Byron, Reddick, and Eric Jones. 7 top 10s. That makes sense. That 20 car always remember that 20 car kind of being good. Now that you say that, but it feels so long ago that he was at JGR.
But his average finish with not having a win is really what blew my mind with him.
12th place, yeah.
In 13 starts.
All right, well now we know who Josh is going to pick with like the 3rd overall pick this week. Well, that's about that time, Bull. So are you ready to give your winner pick? If you happen to make the show on Friday, you might be giving it twice, but just in case, who you got winning at Texas this week?
So the plan is that I will be at Texas on Sunday. Watching the race.
Yeah, you told me that.
And I think the 12 of Ryan Blaney is finally going to put it together, and he's going to be crossing the finish line, getting the victory.
Okay, Bull, we think so much alike. That's the same path I was going with Ryan Blaney. Since I won't be here on Friday, I'll go ahead and give that. Ryan Blaney is my pick to win the race this week, and I would follow through on that in the Fast Five. So, yeah, that's either a really good sign or a really bad sign with Ryan Blaney this year if we think he's going to win. So. But one thing we do know is we'll have a fast car, and we'll have to wait and see how it all finishes out. But any last thoughts, comments you want to get out before we call it a show?
No, I think I'm good. I think we pretty much covered it.
All right.
Hopefully, we
had a lot of talking
back
points
next week.
Well, what'd you say? You cut out.
Hopefully, we see Josh back next week.
Yes. Can't wait for Josh to be back on the show so we can make fun of him.
That's the best part.
Absolutely. But Josh, if you're watching, best of luck with your graduation because I guess never mind. I'll probably see him, but I don't know because I think he's got another week before that. I just don't know when he graduates, but I know it's getting close. So best of luck and all of that, Josh. Probably not even watching because he's so busy graduating. But thank you all for listening. Be sure to like, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, go check out the What Ifs. They're doing pretty well. We're doing some pretty good numbers, which is some nice motivation to get the next one started. We'll be getting started on that whenever I've officially moved in and stuff. So, Bull, did you ever get a chance to see it?
I've watched part 1. I need to go back and watch part 2 now.
Part 2 is a pretty long one. But what did you think of part 1 so far?
It's good. It's good. I'm interested to see how. I know you said part 2 is where it turns up, so
Yeah.
I'm interested to start that one. I'll probably actually watch it here once we're done.
Okay. You have to shoot me a text and say what you think.
So I'm interested to see how that one was. And I know we were talking before about your new idea. I'm pretty excited for that one now.
Yeah. That one won't be out. We have one that we already planned and are starting on that, and then that one will probably be the next one. So we kind of, that'll be a kind of a double what if too. But anyways, you guys don't even know what it is, so we'll wait for that. If you see the thumbnail of part 2, you'll get why it gets crazier. So anyways, without further ado, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at LFC__99. Follow Bull at Bull_81818. And I guess I'll give Josh a shout out, even though he didn't make it, at JNorth1989. Thank you for coming on the show early this morning. I had to do it a little early. If you can't tell, moving behind me, so that's with all the mess. I kind of realized during the show of some stuff I probably should move out of the way, out of the camera shot. But moving, going to be gone on Tuesday, so I'll be missing Friday's show. So, Bull, if you make it there, tell Ben and Josh I said hello, and we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.